you will ask a question from the audience and in the chat box help. Good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Swati Chakraborty, platform moderator for Web Platform for Dialogue. Web Platform for Dialogue has been launched in terms of in this time of pandemic particularly, and when we actually been very nervous, very not in a mood that what we will do in this time of pandemic. That time I thought let's have a round of discussion and webinar series with experts from different field of social science, from science, and let's have them in this platform together to discuss more in details about how we can do similar types of research someone is doing in other, connect all together with a dialogue forum. So today's particular session will be moderated by Abira Bhattacharya. She's assistant professor in National Museum, New Delhi. Also, she is doing PhD in the Department of History. So today's session particularly moderated by her, and today's our eminent speaker is Latify Hafiz, and Abira will introduce him. Abira, the session is open to you.
Thank you so much, Swati, for giving me this opportunity again to moderate the session. And so firstly, I would like to thank Hafiz also for being here, and he agreed to introduce us about his research and what is the condition of archaeology, especially in Afghanistan, the role of Buddhist art in Afghanistan. He will be introducing these aspects to us. So just a brief introduction about Latify. So Abdul Hafiz Latify is from Afghanistan, who is currently pursuing his PhD at the Department of Archaeology and Ancient History at MS University, Baroda. He has a bachelor's in archaeology from Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, Greece, and a MA degree from the Department of Ancient History, Culture and Archaeology, University of Allahabad. In his professional career, he has been working as a curator at the National Museum of Afghanistan for 3 years, and currently as an archaeologist at the Archaeology Institute of Afghanistan. In course of his studying and professional career, he has been participating in various workshops, excavations, explorations, and archaeological material studies with special reference to Greece, India, and Afghanistan. Besides, he has also presented papers in various conferences related to archaeology, cultural heritage preservation, and also many of his papers are published in well-recognized journals and in proceedings. So his main area is pre- and proto-history archaeology, where he is currently doing his research in Bronze Age of Afghanistan, with special focus on the trade during the period in Central and Southeast Asia. So today his topic will be dedicated to the recent archaeological researches which are done in Afghanistan with focus to Buddhist archaeology. So now I would like to invite Hafizi to start his lecture and acquaint us with the idea of Buddhism in archaeology. Thank you. I think, Hafiz, you need to unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yeah, I
Do
can
you hear me?
you. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hello, namaskar, good evening to everyone. So I can see that. Do you hear me? Or
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay, good. Once again, good evening to everyone. So thank you so much, Abira, for introduction and introducing me to the audience. And thank you so much, Dr. Swati, for this initiative role that you are playing in these days during this pandemic situation that we are facing all together around the world, and these kinds of platforms that we are coming and presenting some of our research. So it gives a lot of ideas, new researches to everyone. So I'm very delighted and happy to be part of your this web platform. And thank you so much for inviting me to speak about this. So definitely, uh, and nowadays, if you hear the name of Afghanistan, maybe the first thing which will come to you is Taliban or the war or this bad face of Afghanistan in the media or social media. But rarely people or only people who are engaged in the field of archaeological culture heritage know they know about the past history of Afghanistan. But very rarely people know about the what has been done in the field of archaeology and cultural heritage preservation in this area, and especially what was the situation during the war and during the Taliban period, how that cultural heritage affected by the war, and also what is the current situation, what people are doing nowadays there in Afghanistan in terms of archaeological excavations, who are leading these archaeological excavation, and what are the results, some more recent results. As I selected, so there are many archaeological excavations currently going on in Afghanistan, but I'm going to focus only for the about the what special references I mentioned about the Buddhist archaeological discoveries in the recent years. So first of all, I'm going to share my screen. Just a moment here. Present. So, so do you see that my presentation?
No, I can't
Okay.
see it. Like yeah, I think it's getting loaded now.
Now it's
Yeah,
okay.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay. Okay, good, because I cannot see anyone and I can not see even myself. So no problem. If there is any problem, just please let me
Yeah, I will
know.
let you know if there is any problem.
Okay, okay, good, good, good. So for the today's lecture, I'm going to focus on about the brief introduction about the geography and location of Afghanistan, and going to talk about the previous archaeological research in this region, and also recent archaeological activities, with focusing on the three sites. Although there are many, but one is the Tapain Orange in Kabul and Misa Ainak archaeological sites in Logar. Maybe lots of people knows about this through the media, which is one of the focal point of this people who are discussing about this site, because it is one of the site which is under the threat of mining. And also stupa of Tobdara, one of the largest and tallest stupa maybe in the region, during the ancient time. And nowadays it has been restored and excavation going on there, and finally we'll come to conclusion. So I want to dedicate this lecture to the 101 years of independence of Afghanistan. It was on 19th August. Uh, so first of all, just coming into the point that Afghanistan is a crossroad of ancient civilization, because recently, not only recently, but in the past decades as well, based on the archaeological evidences which has been discovered in this region, many scholars come to into a conclusion that Afghanistan served as a crossroad of many civilizations, and in the Central and South Asia. And also it is occupying a unique place in this in the trade routes of the well-known Silk Road. But definitely because of the geographical location of this area, invading tribes, armies, or empires passed through Afghanistan, and they left their imprints on the cultural, religious way of life in the region. Definitely amongst the various religions, Buddhism played a significant role in the shaping of culture and equity of Afghanistan. But not only during the Buddhist time, not only during the time of Alexander the Great, but even from the prehistoric time, and especially during the Bronze Age, that some raw material were exported from Afghanistan to the area of other great civilizations of the ancient world, such as Indus Valley Civilization, Mesopotamia, Egypt, even Greece. Started from some objects can be dated to 4,000, 3,000 years ago, BC. So here you can see the map of Afghanistan, where it is located in the center of those interactions. If from India the traders wants to go to the Central Asia, they must pass the area of modern day Afghanistan. At the same time, from China as well, when they wanted to pass through the Iran or other countries like Egypt or Mesopotamia. So lapis lazuli and tin were exported. These are the two well-known material or sources which has been exported from Afghanistan. This is from the Badakhshan mountain. As I mentioned, that archaeological excavation in this area, which is definitely attracted the attention of the scholars and researchers or archaeologists to come and do excavation here. But at the same time, we have evidences of the mention about this area and religious or in some ancient Chinese texts from those travelers like Huansong and Fahin, that they visited the area, and they are giving a lot of information about the Buddhist monasteries, monuments, or statues, especially the Buddha of Bamiyan. They are giving a very significant account on this in this regard. But at the same time, it's not only, even before that, Greek geographers or Roman geographers, they are giving a very significant accounts. But later on, they bring the Muslim invasions in Afghanistan. We have a lot of Muslim scholars which are they mention about the Buddhist parts of Afghanistan, not only about the invasion, because some of them they gave a lot of information about the Buddha of Bamiyan. But the phases of archaeological researches in Afghanistan, so we can divide these researches into the four phases. Like the first phase was those opportunistic excavation and exploration, which started in 1832 when the British officers such as Charles Mason, they came to Afghanistan and they started exploration and excavation of the sites. So then the second phase is with the scientific archaeological researches, when the government of Afghanistan in 1922 signed a contract with the DAFA, which is the French archaeological mission in Afghanistan. But after this, this French delegation was the first scholars or the first team that came into Afghanistan for scientific researches and legal researches. But after the World War, other countries such as Germany, Japan, Italy, United States, and India as well. So Indian mission started in Afghanistan in 1946, and they did some investigations in the northern part of Afghanistan, and especially they helped the government of Afghanistan in the preservation of the Buddha of Bamiyan. But after the outbreak of the Civil War, there is no cooperation in terms of archaeological excavation between India and Afghanistan. Hopefully soon we will start once again these cooperations. And also during this time, it is the foundation of local school of archaeological researches in 1965, with the foundation of the AIA Archaeological Institute of Afghanistan. At the same time, the third phase of the archaeological researches during the war, although there was not any archaeological investigations or excavations going on in Afghanistan, but there were some important discoveries, such as the discovery of Rabatak inscription, which provide a lot of information about the Kushan dynasty, which has been discovered suddenly by the some Mujahideen groups, they were digging a tunnel there for hiding during the war. So then they informed the local authorities, and this was very great discoveries during the Civil War. And also during this time, which was the one rock relief, you will see the photo of this belonging to the Sasanian period in the Baghlan province, at the same vicinity with Rabatak inscription. So, but at the same time, much have been lost or destroyed, but also saved and preserved. We will come to this preservation and how Afghan preserved and saved the archaeological heritage of this region. But the fourth phase of this discoveries is after 2003, when the new government established in 2001 in Afghanistan, and archaeological researches once again started, either independently or joint archaeological excavation and exploration. Here one example of those, that first phase of the archaeological excavation, which exploration, which Charles Mason visited. So here in the red color, you can see the sentence or a couplet that he has written on the top of the Buddha of Bamiyan. So although it is not a good sentence, but see that he has visited all the monuments which were visible there. And especially he did excavation into the many stupas, especially this Bimaran stupa, where he found this golden reliquary of the Buddhist time, and also many kinds. From all over Afghanistan, he might have collected some more than 30,000 of kinds around. His research been published first of all in the Archaeological Society of Bengal. This is an archaeological map of Afghanistan after the scientific research which began. So many in the red, you can see many sites which Buddhist archaeological heritage has been found. Here is another example of those previous works in the Tapesar Dar and the Ghazni province. So here, not only Buddhist temples and stupas has been found, but at the same time, there was the Hinduism was also in practice. As you can see here, this an image of Durga has been found there. So religious. And also here we can see another example of those earlier work by Japanese team at the Tapiz Sikandar in northern part of Kabul, that Hinduism temple has been found, and also this Maheshwara image has been found. So this is the discovery during the Civil War, which I was talking about, this relief here, and also the Rabatak inscription. But at the same time, as I said, that many archaeological objects has been saved. And during the Civil War, that before the outbreak of the war, the National Museum staff of Afghanistan, so they proposed for the government to hide some of the archaeological objects.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Abira.
Yes. Yes, Swati.
Is there any problem?
Swati?
Hello.
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Like your presentation is also visible.
Yeah, but what happened? Was there any problem?
I think Swati, she wants to reach us, but I don't see her on that. Her tab is missing.
Okay, by the way,
yeah, she's there.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Swati. Is there any problem?
Internet issue. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. I will continue. So many archaeological objects from different periods has been saved, especially that golden objects were discovered from Latify, dated back to the 1st century BC and the 1st century AD, and from the archaeological site of Bagram and Khanum, which is the Hellenistic site in northern Afghanistan. So these were hidden, and until 2003. Then after that, it went for exhibition in 2006, and the round of almost all the over the world in 16 countries. Now it is back safe to Afghanistan. So, but unfortunately, the civil war and the Taliban period, which had a lot of impact on the culture heritage of Afghanistan, and we can just mention about the damage and also about the destruction of the Great Buddha of Bamiyan in 2001 by Taliban, which was really a sad news for not only Afghanistan, for the entire world. But at the same time, National Museum of Afghanistan has been destroyed during the civil war, and almost some 70% of the archaeological objects has been looted from the museum and found their way to the black market in the world. So here, once again, after the reopening of the National Museum in 2003, you can see the restoration process of the objects which were broken by the Taliban once again started. Here you can see the National Museum of Afghanistan, which is now once again it's open to the public. So we are coming just as our focus point is about the recent discoveries in the fourth phase of the archaeological discoveries. So many new discoveries, and particularly Buddhist sites, has been happening in this taking place in this region. And some of these archaeological sites either independently or jointly excavated by the Archaeological Institute of Afghanistan. So these sites which I'm going to mention are almost, some of them has the evidence of Buddhism. The Pen Orange, which is a monastery, we are going to talk about this. Qualitude, in this site I have also did excavation, and Khaja Safa and Kunjakai in Kabul region, and also some sites have been excavated in Bamiyan by AIA or DAFA, and also Chashme Shafa to Pezar Garan in Balkh, Mesa Ainak in Logar. Although this Chashme Shafa and the Pezar Garan, very little evidence of Buddhist time. And Hundi Sabzabad nowadays in Angarhar, the Kohimuri in Kapisa, after 50 years of a gap between the archaeological excavations, once again in the ancient city of Kapisha, they restarted the again excavation, and also in the Toptara in Parvan province, which I'm going to talk about this later, and Orange Mana in Kandahar, and other areas of in many provinces. But coming to the point that how Buddhism spread in Afghanistan, or how Buddhism came in Afghanistan. Although this picture is not that much clear, but there is no doubt that that amongst the various religions, Buddhism played a significant role in shaping the culture and activity of Afghanistan. At the same time, the archaeological remains clearly indicate that Buddhism that Afghanistan, the region of Afghanistan, remained under the spiritual or and religious influence of Buddhism. We don't know, as I said, the exact date of coming of Buddhism in Afghanistan, but there are some evidences that during the time of Lord Buddha, he visited the northwestern region of India, which is the Gandhara area. Definitely, so these areas were very important sites, which later on developed into the learning center of Buddhism. And furthermore, other information also available, which is about the history of two traders by the name of Trapasu and Bahlika, which they correlate this Bahlika to Balkh in northern part of Afghanistan, that they met Buddha during his lifetime, and they and after that they returned to their homelands and they erected the first stupas. And some scholars believe that the homeland of these two brothers were in the region of Afghanistan, but it is not proved by the archaeological evidences. But clearly, we can see also that during the Mauryan time, during the time of King Ashoka, that some inscription has been found, especially the Kandahar inscription, the edicts of Great Ashoka. But definitely during the Kushan time, and especially during the time of Kanishka, the great Buddhism obviously flourished, and along the other religions, and it were in practice in the region of modern-day Afghanistan, and archaeological evidences justify it. And first monasteries were built frequently endowed by the members of the ruling dynasties, and also during this time, the well-known Silk Road was not only used by the merchants, also by Buddhist monks traveled via the road, firstly to Central Asia and finally to China through Afghanistan. So Afghanistan played a significant role. And coming to the recent discoveries, some example of recent discoveries, which I'm going to talk about, this is this Buddhist monastery of Tape. So this site locates in the south part of center of Kabul. In this area, there are many. There are other two monasteries, that Holy Tooth and Khwaja Safa. But this one is, the other two sites has been also excavated. But this one also, the excavation started in 2004 and continued until 2013 by one Afghan scholar who was a member of the French archaeological delegation, but jointly with the Archaeologist of Afghanistan. His name is Zafar Paimam, the excavator. So this area is a whole monastery and many stupas, votive stupas, and main stupa has been found in this area. But all these objects has been transferred to the National Museum of Afghanistan and is on display there. But there are many important, although because of the time limit, we are not going to just focus on all the aspects of the site. But clearly, the archaeological finds indicates that it was one of the important sites there. And one of the important discoveries at this site was one circular room in this part, which is my mouse is here. This circular room is a type of discovery. It is one of the unique type of discoveries because you cannot find these types of, and also one fire altar was in the center, but underground all the part of the room there was some image of Buddha. So it was one of the unique discoveries, and many others. But also this site also clearly indicates that we found from this site and another site near to this archaeological site, that is Holy Tooth, we found that coins which are dated to the 10th century and 11th century. So it clearly tell us that invasion of Islam in Afghanistan and the coming of Islam in Afghanistan was not done in one specific time period. And also Al-Biruni informs us that Kabul Shahan, which they were enrolled until the time of the Ghaznavid Empire, also they were in relation, in cultural relation and political relation with each other. Although they were ruling in South Afghanistan, but in Central Afghanistan, Buddhism and also Hinduism, side to side, they were into practice. And these new evidences clearly tell us about the importance of the region of Kabul. Not only these sites, but there are many other sites which has been found in this area, and it was one of the important sites with the where the traders were passed from this area, and in order to reach for the northern part of Afghanistan, you have to pass this area. Another important site recently discovered, it is very great and huge site. It's the site of Messainak. It's not only one site, it is a series of sites there. It is a town which is 40 kilometers southeast of the Kabul and in the Mahmadagha district of Logar province. I also excavated in this site last year. And also the archaeological sites are on the top of the world's largest copper deposit, and also which is a major revenue source for the economy of Afghanistan. Also the archaeological excavation at this site was at the site of Messainak, recorded in the time in 1963 and later on in 1977 some survey has been done. But the first extensive excavation program started in 2009 as a quick response to the planned commencement of the new mining activities on the site. And based on the archaeological evidences, it appears that Buddhists who began settling in this area almost 2 millennia ago were drawn by the availability of the copper, because this is the second largest copper in the world. The topography of the site and the chronology based on the evidences. Miss Ainak is divided into the three parts. One part is the itself the Ainak mountain, which is on the top of the this small mountain, which is called, based on the evidences, industrial area, where the copper slag deposits were found and melting activities were happening in this area, and a defensive wall also built to protect the copper working area. And the lower town, which is called the domestic, is there are some matte brick residential complexes located on the top of a tepe feature, not a mountain, and large stones were and platform and craft workshop activities and a domestic scale were in practice in this area. And also the important part of this these sites are the monastic areas, the villages, which are on the which are 6 in number, and also these features are the in the higher part of the sites, which are visible from the hilltop, and in any place which you stand, you can see those stupas or those monastic areas. And the chronology based on the evidences, and especially kind evidences, because the excavation is still going on at the site, is started from the 2nd century to the middle of the 8th century. And here it is one of the earlier people believe that with the coming of Islam in the region, so many archaeological sites has been destroyed, or this. But here clearly we see the evidence. There is no evidence of any distraction by the Islamic invasion. So gradually the site has been abandoned at the late 8th century. And the stylistic of the pottery forms and characteristic details of architecture remains again sculptures and war. So these came into the clearly evidence of the Gandhara style of art. Here is the map of the site. You can see this red area, which is called the red zone. These mining activities were happening in this area. Here you can see clearly in this one, you can see it with the red where the mining activity and religious complexes are. The red circles are religious complexes, and the green one is the residential and administrative complexes here. And with the blue, the mining and smelting area, you can see it covers a very huge area of mining, and city walls in the yellow, although it continues, and we found that the remains of these sites as well. So many types of stupas in terms of size and features, either votive or main stupas, has been found at the site, which totally 33 stupas in different localities has been found. The Buddhist monasteries comprised of one or more stupas. In many cases, there's many stupas, and also cells of the monks, and also meeting hall and niches for the placement of statue. Here is one of the example of Kafria, Tepe Kafria, which is a monastic site, and very important evidences has been discovered. So here, I'm going just to discuss to show you some sample of the stupas which has been found in this Gandhara style. You can see here, this is the stupa of Shamar Tepe, which called, and here some example of the statues of Buddha here, and also some statues which see half of the statues are safe, but still it is tall as the height of a person, a human. So here is another evidence of a seated Buddha. Here are some other examples of the discoveries, head of the Buddha or Bodhisattva statues. And one of the most interesting discoveries here at the site which may be because of this presence of the copper and the natural situation or natural and natural situation of the site, which help for the preservation of the wooden artifacts. So this here you can see Buddha Sakyamuni, which is probably one of the oldest saved wooden Buddha in this region. Although some examples has been found in Tajikistan and Uzbekistan, I think, but this is very in a very good situation, preservation situation. So see that this new evidence is how much clear evidence is, because first of all, these are the scientific excavations, and it provided a lot of details about the history of Buddhism in the region. Here is another head of a statue gilded, but here you can see clearly the Gandharan style of art, but at the same time, this one, if you can focus on this one, you can see the Greek influence of art here. So this was a site where the different types of arts and activities were happening, and Gandharan art with this Western art, like the Greek art, meet with each other, and also local art as well. So here is another example of a statue of Buddha, wall paintings here in some of the monastic areas. So all these activities, all these sculptures we found in that monastic areas. Very rarely we found evidence in that working area. Here is a statue of a female, which is probably a donator or providing a gift. Here probably she had something in her hands, and see the situation of preservation. There is not only this part which has been added to this, but you can clearly see the color and the situation of preservation here. One another interesting discovery at the site is this statue of Buddha Dipankara in the left from Mr. Ainak. But at the right, you can see there was another one similar to this. You can see the similarity of the art, although a little this Shotrak from Kapisa a little higher than this one, but unfortunately this piece has been lost from the National Museum of Afghanistan during the Civil War. But at the same time, we found another one similar to this from Mese Ainak. And another feature, very interesting feature of this piece is that you can see it is one side is a relief, and on the back side there is painted, so it is visible from the both side. And probably this whole here you can see that it was hang it on a place that to be visible from the both side. Here we can see a seated Buddha on the back side. And not only sculptures or statues or stupas, but also pieces of Buddhist manuscript. This one, which is a sutras written in the Sanskrit on a tree bark, and most probably it was this manuscript has been housed in an archive type, because we found many of these types of Buddhist manuscript still to be uncoded or deciphered, because in 2018 it has been discovered. We are still waiting for the view of the scholars to read this script. And the situation of preservation, see, although it is a tree bark, but still it's in a good condition. You can clearly see, and this is because of the one thing to mention, because at the beginning of the excavation at the site, most of the foreign teams were involved in the excavation of the site, and also Afghans as well. But what was the program? It was a rescue archaeology excavation, because they wanted to excavate the site. But day by day, when they excavated the whole entire site, and they came across the many great discoveries. So, and the entire world was in the concern that maybe the site which is going after the extraction of the mine is going to be destroyed. It was a big concern for the entire world. And even there is one documentary about Miss Ainak, which is Okay, not going to talk about this one, but it gave okay, that concern earlier it was okay, but nowadays the plan and the policy of government of Afghanistan is first the preservation of cultural heritage, then the mining activity. So we held many conferences, workshops, together with the Ministry of Mine and experts, and we discussed this issue and concern of the entire world about the destruction of the site once is mining. But nowadays, the archaeologists of Afghanistan, especially the Ministry of Information and Culture authorities, they provided a plan for the to be approved by our president, that we accepted the open mining activities, which was signed in a contract by with the Chinese company of MCC. So nowadays we accepted the underground. For sure, Afghanistan, which was affected during the civil war, and economy of this country based on the foreign aids nowadays, but at the same time, the site which is the second largest copper deposit in terms of economy, it is very useful for the local people and for the entire country in order to be to that we should stand on our feet in terms of economy. But at the same time, the archaeological objects at the site is much important than that. So maybe it will that a mining activity will bring us benefit very temporarily, but this archaeological sites, if we save and preserve it for the better and better situation for the future, and once security will come to Afghanistan, and this travelers or people who will come for tourist purposes, so this will bring a lot of revenue for us. Clearly the government of Afghanistan's policy is first to preserve the site, then mining activity. So we can hear now clear the concern of the people, that they were afraid that maybe the site will be destroyed. Here are some pottery examples from the site, stamped pottery. Not only the Kushan evidences here, but we have evidences from the Sassanid Empire as well, as many coins and structure has been found here, and these potteries belong to that period. To conclude about about this site, it is one of the biggest sites been discovered recent in Central and South Asia, which is dated to this to the time of Buddhism, and also not only Buddhism but Zoroastrian temples has been found also here at the site. Copper melting workshops, and probably coin mining, also residential area with towers, small streets, fortification, cemetery, and caves, both natural and human-made. An area where thousands of movable objects has been found. But based on the archaeological evidences, it's an industrial city, but at the same time religious center of Buddhism. Though much is known about the ancient Buddhist link to the trade and commerce, but little is known about the relationship to industrial production. So this is where Mesa Ainag may be able to fill an important blank, hinting a more complex Buddhist economic system than has been previously understood. So it is one of the important discoveries of the 21st century. And also Mesa Ainag played was a key economic center in Gandhar, and also a place where the great religions of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Zoroastrianism met, and where ancient Greek, Persian, Central Asian, and Indian culture melded. When I'm telling Hinduism, we found some evidence of Durga here at the site. Another important site, which I'm going to mention, refer about this, it is the restoration and excavation of the stupa of Tobdara. This site It was not destroyed by any, although it is in the left side of the way which is leading here. You can see in this photo, you can see the Kapisa Parvan plain, which was in the past time, which was the area of ancient Kapisa. So the road which is passing from this side, so the stupa is almost visible from the main road. This way gives the entrance to the many other cities in the northern Afghanistan, especially to the northern part of Hindu Kush. And this site, this stupa was visible to people, and it was not destroyed by the people, but natural disaster, as we can clearly see here that parts of the stupa has been fallen down. And local people which are living in the vicinity of the site, you can see here clearly their houses. They were not involved in any illegal excavation or illegal looting of the site or destruction of the site. But this site was visited also by Charles Mason, and he dug a tunnel from this backside in order to find any reliquary and also any relic or any other evidences. But he was not able to find. After the excavation in these sites, so we found the entrance, the staircase of the which is very unique, and most of the stupas it has in one side. Yeah, but here you can see in the both sides, in the eastern and western part. So maybe once the visitors will come, they will climb here and they will do the round or the pilgrim of the site. Then they are coming from here. Why it is important? Another this staircase that here in the eastern part, we recently started excavation, and these are some of the although it's not published, but only I have put one photo that in the future we are going to publish the result of the excavation. But in this part, probably, most probably, there will be a monastery in this area. So the excavation will show us. But what is the important thing that you can see, that restoration of the site almost is been completed by the Monuments Department of Afghanistan, and also ARCHCO, which is an organization working in the preservation of the heritages in Afghanistan, an excavation conducted by the Archaeology of Afghanistan. But the important point in the recent activities is that though foreign nations are active in Afghanistan, but at the same time, the role of the local and people who are involved, and especially young generation, which are interested in the preservation and protection of their heritage. So many new scholars has come into this ground, and they are doing independent excavation in the archaeological sites. Here is another picture after some little bit completion. No new material has been used in the site. All the material which you can see here, a little bit new material, but most of the material which has been found during the excavation at this part has been reused. Another stupa, very important, Shivaki, in the area of Kabul. Recently, the restoration and excavation started, and maybe some 5-6 months ago, it is still going on. Coming into the conclusion, because it's time limit and we cannot discuss all the aspects of Buddhism in Afghanistan and also the results of the excavation, but I wanted just to give a general idea about what has been done in the past, what has been done in the recent years. According to these interpretations, the region of modern day Afghanistan occupying a unique place in the central and the culture and political geography of Central and South Asia, but at the same time to the entire world history. Many discoveries of the which has been done during the Civil War are not only identified and testified the occupation of human during the prehistoric time, but also the pre-Islamic history and past in this country, in this region, including Buddhism. Unfortunately, the civil war and Taliban period, many of cultural heritage of Afghanistan, especially archaeological heritage, has been victim of the looting and vandalizing. Beside this, the cooperation and dedication of both foreign mission and indigenous scholars in the archaeological investigations are praiseworthy. Why I'm telling this? Because most of the Afghans who were living during the civil war and they were involved, they were archaeologists or museum staff, they put their life in danger to preserve some of the, as much as they can, some of the important objects. But at the same time, this site of Mesa Ainak, which is located in a very dangerous area, nowadays, like 2,000 security police forces are guarding the area, and beside this, the retreat of Taliban and their attacks in that area, Afghan young scholars nowadays are going and they are excavating at the site. But in 2017, during the course of the excavation, many people, security guards and some scholars have been died. But recently in 2007, as a result of suicide attack, one of our conservators lost his life. But these tragic events which are happening, but at the same time, we obligate ourselves to preserve and protect our past history. In the recent years, the most productive area of cultural heritage work in the past was the archaeological field in Afghanistan. Still, there are, as I said, many challenges ahead. Archaeological investigation and heritage preservation, but at the same time, the government and people of Afghanistan promising to preserve and protect their heritage. Before ending my speech, so I'm just requesting some of these sources. If anybody is interested in the area of preservation or protection, this book is about the culture, about the Afghan hidden treasure, which I was talking about. And this is a recent book in 2017, published by the Chicago University. It was one of the first international conferences regarding the preservation of cultural heritage, which held inside Kabul, and especially in the Kabul University by the aid of US government and Chicago University. And the proceeding of the conference been published into two as a bilingual in Farsi and English. And fortunately, I'm also one of the editor of this. And there are other books as well. Although there are many articles, but only a few I have mentioned here. But at the end, I'm going to just convey my message every time. I'm just telling this, that let's work together and collaborate together in order to save and preserve our past, our history, our identity, and our heritage. Because the preservation of cultural heritage is not only the responsibility of a specific nation who inherited from their ancestor, but also is the responsibility of all people around the globe, because all the cultural heritage are the heritage of humanity, and it does not recognize border, race, or color. And it's very well said in a board which is outside the National Monument of Afghanistan, which says a nation stays alive when its culture stays alive. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Hafiz, for this enlightening talk. And like you have uncovered various aspects, how the archaeological excavations have been done in the recent past. And also I like the idea, like the resurgence of economic pursuits in the Messianic area, like how the government is trying to do the excavation and also the mining, and trying to like promote the economy of the area, and also it will help in the tourism. And we have got a lot of questions here, so I will just put them
please.
one by one. I can see a lot of people asking various things about the archaeology and cultural and social impact. So like from Antaripa Mandal, we have one question: was there any influence of indigenous culture in production of Buddhist sculpture? that belong to a Gandhar culture. Was Gandhar culture only influenced by Greco-Roman artistic tradition? So basically, she's asking about what were the indigenous influences which led to the formation of these artistic styles. Was there something from Afghanistan itself, or was it basically from India or from Greco-Roman?
Yeah, definitely. When we are talking about the Gandhara style of art, it is not only the production of the Greco-Roman influence on that. Okay, at the beginning, because northern Afghanistan and especially also southern part of Hindu Kush, which was occupied by the Indo-Greeks and Greco-Bactrians, definitely when some earlier way of life, way of artistic practices, which were already existed, definitely it influenced the coming of the Gandharan art. But at the same time, the indigenous art is very important there. You cannot compare all the aspects, all the sculptures or statues or any art piece which has been found from this period to the Gandhara. You can see the local art influence as well.
So we have one more question from Dr. Dinakar Kalambre. So he's asking, does it benefit tourists from recent research on Buddhist archaeology in Afghanistan, and what do you think?
Yeah, definitely, because nowadays one of the biggest concern in Afghanistan is the security situation. Once where the security situation will be better and tourists will come in Afghanistan and this tourism will once again open to Afghanistan, definitely it will benefit the economy of this country, and it will benefit for the people who are visiting also. They came to know the reality of the existence of these monuments and these archaeological sites. And it does not mean that the tourists are not coming in Afghanistan, but tourists are coming, but not as much as we compare, for example, with India. It's less in number, and they are visiting especially the Bamiyan because it is one of the safest places in Afghanistan, and they are visiting. And but at the same time, the interest of the local people and the indigenous people who are visiting the sites is very important, because it will help about for the better preservation and protection of the heritage. And this is because of the initiative role of the Afghan government, and especially National Museum and Archaeology Institute of Afghanistan, which we provide awarenesses for the people about the value of the past and our history, our heritage, for the people to avoid the destruction. See, for example, since 2003, when the scientific excavation started once again, and with giving this awareness, like 80%, there is a decrease in the terms of the illegal and looting of the archaeological objects. It is not in that level as it was during the Civil War, and this is due to the cooperation of the local people as well, because once they see any activity, they directly inform the local authorities about the activity.
Yeah, that's like really important, like community engagement, and how you're making people aware about the archaeological and cultural traditions so that they can restore it and they can also contribute in the process. And then Vinansh Dave, he has one question, like he's asking like whether the spread of Buddhism was restricted to the western part of Afghanistan or it was much more wider. So his question is basically like the root of Buddhism, like what were the specific areas?
It was not any restriction with the spread of Buddhism. Everywhere you can find evidence, in southern part, in northern part, because most of people, they believe that maybe in the northern region of the Hindu Kush there are not evidences, but you can see there are evidences in the area, for example, Balkh.
Yeah, totally. Like each of them were connected by the monastic centers, and then they were connected through route. So we cannot say like it was only restricted to one portion.
Yeah,
or
but it was not restricted, and especially which we have the archaeological evidence that during the Kushan time, Buddhism came in Afghanistan, flourished across Afghanistan. It was not a religion to force people to accept it, because other religions were also in practice side by side. Say, for example, the site of Sorkotal in northern part of Afghanistan. It is, although the statue of Kanishka has been found there, and the Sorkotal inscription, which is one of the important inscriptions, it gives a lot of details about this period, but it is not a Buddhist site. But at the same time, it was in practice during this time. It doesn't mean that the statue of Kanishka has been found or any other evidence of Kushan time. It should be a Buddhist site, and it was not forced by the kings or rulers of that time to accept this religion. Religious harmony was there.
Yeah, it was basically coexistence as we see in India as well. So
Yes.
so Agnek has a few questions which are more related to the modern era. And like his first question is, do you believe that modernization project initiated by Amanullah Khan helped in the scientific understanding of Afghan pre-Islamic past?
Yes, definitely. What was the contribution of the first king of Afghanistan who got our independence? His contribution in this scientific research, not only in the area, in the field of archaeology, but in other fields as well, because according to his belief, he was just to modernize the Afghanistan. But this modernization, which is coming to an area, to a region, which they are very, how to say, most of the people were illiterate by that time, and very religious people. So by the time you bring the modernization in a country, in a region, before giving them awareness, it is not accepted by the people. So definitely the role he played in this modernization of Afghanistan, it helped to better understanding of the pre-Islamic past of Afghanistan. But at the same time, it is not only in this. What is the important thing, that scientific excavations are started there. It was not like an open country by that time, that everyone should pass from there and do some excavation in any archaeological site that they were coming across to that. I have only mentioned the Charles Nation, but before Charles Nation, other people who also passed through Afghanistan, especially when they came for the purpose of war during the Anglo-Afghan War, and everywhere that they found, they started excavation. But by the coming of this new modernization and the scientific excavation, it stopped those opportunistic excavation. Definitely, he played an important role in the area in this area.
Then we have one more question from Agnek. He's saying like, please comment on the impact of modernization project on the indigenous communities and their reaction towards the pre-Islamic relics. Like about coexistence and harmony. Is it existing today also or not? Like,
although these previous religions are not practiced anymore, but as Afghanistan is totally Islamic country, but at the same time we have a Sikh community as well there. So they are there, and their temples or how to say this one, there the Sikh temples are open, but there is not any other community to believe in this earlier practice, like Zoroastrianism or Buddhism. That was one of the most important religions in the area. But at the same time, this newly excavations give a lot of ideas for the people. First of all, this young generation, by giving them awareness, they are a lot interested too much about their past. And by the time that the National Museum of Afghanistan, which is open for the public, it is one of the greatest steps that for a country which was under the occupation of Taliban, a very fanatic group, that even hearing the music or was banned during this time. It was a dark age. But say, for example, that opening a museum for those people who are survived during a dark age and bringing them to a museum to see their past, their sculpture, these things. So it is very strange at the beginning. But by giving awareness to the people, they come to know about the reality. This is the reality. We have to accept the reality. But at the same time, there was some religious people or some politics who were like very fanatic and right side, like they were telling that the only history of the history of Afghanistan started only by coming of Islam. There is no other history. But by the time there are discoveries and these past religious activities, we cannot deny this one. This is our past. This is our what we have passed. We have to accept it. And day by day, the community engagement in the preservation is praiseworthy, and we appreciate this. Any other question, please?
Yeah, one more question is there, and by Agni.
Abira,
yeah.
Abira,
Are we running out of time?
Yes.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
So Agni can just mail the question to you. Like, I think he has a lot of interest. Yeah, everybody is.
Everybody who wants to know about the if they have any concern or question, they can freely email me. If I can answer, I will answer.
I have shared your email ID without your permission, Latify. So I have shared the email ID in the chat box for Latify. Anyone would like to have any question related the books on India, Afghanistan. I think Romy have some queries on the books. So if you would like to ask any question, please feel free. Latify would be happy to answer, and he's very, very punctual in reply. So don't worry. So we are almost at the end of the discussions, and I'm really, really privileged to hear both of you, because it's a really interesting and informative session, and with the visual impact of so many pictures from. We had a different mindset about Afghanistan, actually, frankly speaking. And truly, it's not so good. So thank you so much, Latify, for this wonderful presentation, which actually clear up our mind about Afghanistan, what it was, and how it has been changed with so many political changes. Because I believe that terrorism is a political game, and it's a business as well. So it's a almost different discussions. We may have different webinar series on that, but in this particular webinar we came to know about the rich culture of Afghanistan and how it would be changes with the with some mindset of the people. So it's not about the changes of arena, but we at least have a very, very rich culture, and that is very important to know about it. So I really appreciate your presentation, and I am really happy to have Abira as one of our great personality, first of all, and a wonderful moderating powers. Thank you so much, Abira, for attending so many questions. Yes, we have a wonderful, compact questions, round of questions. I really thankful to the participants who, with the presentation, with the patience, you are listening, Latify, and a wonderful power-packed voice. So I thank you, all of you, to be here today. And if you have any questions, you can ask it in my email ID. And I have already shared Latify's email ID, so you can connect with him directly. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, you are most welcome, and I am also thankful for you that you organized this session. And thank you so much, Abira ji, for
thank you.
So
it was wonderful listening to you, Hafiz. Like after that conference, and like we met during the Telangana conference, and this is the second time I'm listening to him. Thank you so much.
Yeah, most welcome, and it was my pleasure to present, and hopefully the participants got a very brief idea about what is going on in Afghanistan, because you cannot see all these things in the media, because media never provide this one. But thanks to these platforms and conferences that we are coming together to know about the past. Any inquiries, any suggestions, or any doubts, any ideas, or any questions, feel free to write to me. So thank you so much once again, and have a nice evening. Goodbye, everyone.